Hello everyone, Linda Israel here, and this video is to explain and then create a page for the Finish the Page swap that I'm hosting. The idea is you will have supplies that you'll put together that when completed will create a 8.5 tall by 5.5 inch wide journal page. This could be made using scrapbook paper, scraps of paper, gel prints, digital papers, random book pages that you painted, dyed paper, coffee dyed paper, whatever it may be that you want to put together to make what I call an eclectic journal page. It'll be called Finish the Page Swap. The deadline to join the swap will be the end of September, and I've already forgotten how many days are in the month of September, so y'all can tell me in the comment below of this video so I can remember, and you can see how silly I am. You will email me at lindaisrael.com. That is my email address. Email me at lindaisrael.com. E-M-A-I-L, me, yeah, email. And if you're on Facebook, there'll be a Facebook event, so you can join there and you won't have to email me. But for those of you that don't use Facebook, you will email me at lindaisrael.com. I will need your mailing address, your full name, your YouTube user ID, and if you are willing to ship international. If you are U.S. only, just say U.S. only, because I know that shipping can be expensive. However, I hope that by putting it in a 6x9 envelope, and you don't really want to put super bulky things in there because it'll go through the mail easier, that it won't cost as much. Let me give you some examples of what I would put together if I were sending one to you. So let's start. Let me move this out of the way so we can do one at a time. You don't have to paper clip it. I do this so that I have a general idea, and I do a whole bunch. So I have a basket back here that I put a whole bunch of these sets together. So my idea was I have some little pieces that I've made. This is a layered piece, an image from Calico Collage. This was a little tear-off notebook page that my mother-in-law gave me, and my thought was I think it would look cute to layer that over the top and then paste it on this page. So I paper clipped it there. And on this side, I have a gel print that I went ahead and turned into a pocket. And I have a digital. This is from the Calico Collage Daydreaming. It's a unicorn. I think it's daydreaming, not daydreaming. Unicorn dreams. Unicorn dreams. I think that's the right term. Unicorn dreams. And I had a little peacock feather in there. And then this was a journal card that I made. This was some scrapbook paper, doily. This is a die cut shape onto a piece of cardstock. And then I added some words to it. You can also include, for example, I have other little flowers that I've made. So if you have little paper flowers, you have some embellishments that you've hand cut out or that you've purchased and you want to include those, you can. This page is a digital copy of a hand stamped paper that I made. So I stamped on top of a painted book page, and then I watercolored it and I scanned it into my computer, and I have prints of those. The other side, I think I went ahead on this one and glued it down. This is a gel print that didn't really have a whole lot on it. And then I came back in and I did some rubber stamping. And then I had a pocket here. And then I had a couple of items that I thought, well, they could be glued on the outside. That's just one example. It does not mean you have to do this. Let me set that aside. Here is another example that I started. Again, these are gel prints that I went ahead and turned into a pocket. Now, you can choose to go ahead and design the pocket for them, or maybe you want to just give them a piece of paper that they could cut up themselves. Here is a journal card that I made. This has some watercolor paper that I had watercolored, and then this is a watercolored flower that I made. And then the journal card I stamped around the outside edge. Again, it was also watercolored on the edges. And there's the back side. Here's another gel print that I turned into a pocket. So there's a pocket here. And if you look, this has gussets on it, so it could be a full page pocket. And I haven't done it yet, but if I were doing the swap, I would include items in the pockets. They could be partially started journal cards. They could be completed journal cards, whether they're digital printed or something that you made, whatever it may be. The foundation is another gel print that had some images on it, but it wasn't super fancy. And I haven't included anything on the back yet, but I would grab another piece of paper. So let me find something real fast. I think this would kind of go. So when you flip it over, you have a completely different. This is another gel print that I made. And then I have a box of items, so I would kind of dig through here and see if there was something that I could use. Like this is a little pocket that I made that doesn't have any embellishments, but I could add that. And I've got this little envelope that I made that has a journal card in it that could be put on this side like that. And then I can pick out some other random embellishments to put on there. And then what I would do is I would take this whole thing, I would fold it in half so that it would fit into the 6x9 envelope. So I'm just going to fold this in half, and I would stack all of these things. And then your choice, if you want to write a note that says, you know, I hope you enjoyed this swap. Here, like this little journal card could go. Let's see, it could go right here. I hope you enjoyed this swap. My vision was to use these items in this way. If you want, you could go ahead and sketch out your idea so that they have an idea of what you wanted in your vision to put together. But the whole idea is that you're giving all of these items to someone and then they can complete it. They would come in and say, you know, I like this, but maybe I'll cut it in half, or maybe I'll fussy cut that out and use it differently than what the person intended. All right, so the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of these pages just so you can get an idea of how to put it together. All right, let's pretend that this is the swap package that I received. I just grabbed a envelope. It's a padded one, and I don't think you'll need one. And I just folded everything, and I also grabbed a few extra things to stick in here. Now, you may choose to package it nice and neat if you want. If you want to put it in like a cellophane baggies, that's up to you. It's however you want to do it. So I would say first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my package and see what I have. So I would be like, oh, neat, a gel print. Now, if I wanted, I would write a note and say these were gel prints, and you can either say in a list of what they are and explain each little element. So I'm just going to kind of lay this all out. And like, here's a journal card, here's a pocket, here's another pocket, here's a fussy cut element that can be used, and another journal card. These are some little tear off notepad papers, so those could be kind of journaling spaces. Here's a fussy cut element, a tag, and here's a couple of little labels. Looks like another little journal card. And I've put a bunch in here, so you don't feel obligated to put near as much. But I would think that a couple of journal cards, a couple of pockets, and make sure that there's some kind of writing space that we can put on, and maybe some little embellishments of some sort, whether it be fussy cut or whatnot, would be sufficient. Journal card. This is just a scrap of paper. Another fussy cut element. Here's another journal card. Some more little fussy cut type elements. This is just a plain piece of paper, and here's another piece of like a gel print, and it looks like a couple of word phrases. So this one says, let life surprise you and never stop exploring. So I would look at this and say, okay, how do I want to put this together? If I wanted, I would write a note and say, you could glue these two pages back to back. You could add the pockets on the pages and then embellish it however you want. So I'm just going to basically do that. I'm going to take this page and glue them back to back. Since they're already 8.5 by 11, shouldn't have to do any cutting. But feel welcome, if you want to send bigger pieces of paper, you can do that. My glue is a little runny, so I'm going to use my paintbrush to smear it around. I did pretty good. I got a little bit of a white border on this edge, so I'm just going to grab my distress inks and add some distress inks to the edges. If you decide you don't want to join the swap, I feel that this is a great way to basically stack up some elements to create journal pages on your own. Can get a little basket or a box and stack things together that you think would work well, and then set them aside. And then when you're in a mood to create journal pages, you just grab a stack and start putting it together. I'll go ahead, want this to dry just a little bit more. I think I'll go ahead and fold this in just a moment. I'm going to look at my elements here and see what I want to use where. Okay, these are all, this could be a pocket that we could put on the page. I've got 3 pockets that we could use. I had started when I put this together thinking that this could be over here, but I think it also could look good on this side of the page, because you can't really write on this gel print very well. You might want to use like a Sharpie marker on it so that it will stick. So maybe something like that. I have this little tear off notebook paper that we could put over here. I've got a little embellishment. So what if we were to do something like that? I've got a little dragonfly that might look good there. What about some stamping? We could do some stamping on that piece. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. Yeah, I'm going to get out some rubber stamps and stamp on this. It's one of my favorites. It's the Henna Rose stamp. I love using it because I feel it's so versatile. I've got the Archival Ink Jet Black by Ranger, and I'm just going to stamp around the edge, just giving this a little bit of a pattern on that outside edge. I decided I wanted to add a little bit more, so I put on some gloves, and I've got some Distress Oxide ink. I've got Seedless Preserves and a little brush. So I'm going to come in here and add a little pattern. I think that looks good. And I think this could go on the page here. And maybe put this in the corner. I've got this blue flower, which I think would be a great contrast. And then I've got Never Stop Exploring. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is I will glue this down on this side. Since this is acrylic paint, I'll use some beacon glue to glue the pieces down. Now I can see where I have folded it, so I'm kind of using that as a gauge to get it centered on the page. You know, another thing we could do, wait, before I do that, I have a doily. So you could include a doily in your swap package. I'm thinking maybe something like that now. I think I'm going to do that. It kind of gives a nice contrast with that white behind there. And I don't know if I've got more than one. Yep, I do. I kind of like how this is layering up quite nicely. So I think this piece could go right here. Since we're doing paper to paper, I can use Aleene's tacky glue on there. I'm going to set my acrylic block to hold it in place. And then I think this piece would look good in the corner here. Just kind of making an eclectic piece. I will make this just in case as a tuck spot, because you never know when I go to use this page, or whoever uses this page may want to include a little something behind there. And I just realized I used Aleene's tacky glue on there, so it may not stay stuck. That happens. So now I'm going to glue down the word phrase. Maybe I'll glue it right here. So I think that page, that side looks pretty good. So let's work on this side. So this is a full page pocket. So there's a pocket back here and a pocket here. So I'll go ahead and glue this one down. I just noticed there's a little bit of a gap right there. I'm going to grab a marker and fix that. let's see. Since that's green, I'm going to grab a scrap of paper here and see if that green, I think that would work. I'm just going to come in here, and whenever I glued down the pocket, the book page that I used was showing through. So I just added a little bit of a marker down that side, and that covered that up. And it gave me an excuse to use my markers that have been sitting back there. All right, so I think I want to put this kind of at the bottom a little bit, leaving room at the top. I could measure this first so I have an idea. Looks like it's almost 4.5 inches by not quite 6 inches. So if we did a 4x6 journal card, it would fit in that pocket. And I just realized when I glued this down, it was very close to the fold, but I think we're going to be okay. And I thought about this little dragonfly here. I also have this little butterfly, and I'm thinking of switching that out because I think the butterfly has a better contrast, so I'm going to put that there. And this is a printed paper. This portion is a gel print, and that's a gel print. That's just a printed. I think I did some watercolor papers a while back and included that as a digital download. Okay, I like that. So now we need something to put in the pockets. And this is one little element that was part of the swap, if you will. I think that would look good there. And I think we could get away with putting this one in the big pocket. I mean, I know it can go down further, so I'm going to lay that there for now. And I think for now, I'm going to flip this over and work on the other side. Over here, I have a gel print pocket that I thought would look pretty on the page. And then I've got just a random pocket for this side. So I'm going to look at these other elements and see if there's something that I would rather use. I like this mixed media pocket. I've got a tag here that we could also include in that pocket. We've got this card, and then we've got a couple of embellishments, maybe the dragonfly over there and this over here. I also have these little labels, so maybe we could put one up here and maybe one right there and let life surprise you. And then I have some leftover bits that the person could use wherever they want. So I think that's what I'm going to do for now, is glue this all together and finish this page. So again, because this is a gel print, I'm going to use the beacon glue. I think that looks pretty good, getting those pieces put together. I'm going to set this aside. I think this piece should go here with the Let Life Surprise You. That's a gel print, so I'm going to use the beacon glue again. This is another one of my rubber stamps that I just stamped on some scraps of paper. And then the dragonfly is a rubber stamp that I then watercolored, and then I used the tulip dimensional glitter paint on top of it and let that air dry, and it gives it a little bit of shimmer. And then I would put the cards in the pocket here. And this little envelope was made out of a book page that was painted rolling off my brayer, and then I did some stencils on top of it. And then we should be able to put this in the pocket over here, like so. I didn't get this in the pocket all the way. I was afraid I would get into the glue, so I'm trying not to go. There we go. And then there would be the finished page. I think we could add some more to this if you want, but I think for what I sent or was sent to me, this is sufficient of being able to add some stuff. And then of course, then the swap participant who gets your finish the page swap could then add more things. If you want to add bling, if you want to add lace, or if you want to add fabric. Then of course, if you want to include that in your swap thing that you send, that's great as well. So it's just kind of up to you. Well, I hope you have some ideas of grabbing some of your scraps and ends and pieces, little things that you have left over. Maybe you haven't figured out what you want to do with it yet. Create a page, even if it's just to set aside and build later, or participate in the swap. We will draw names for our matchup partners on October the 1st-ish, and email or send that in the Facebook group so that you have the Facebook event. And I'll have the link in the description box below so that you know who you are sending to. And you'll get a private message with the mailing address of their partner. Then you'll have by October the 15th to get it put in an envelope and made. And when you get your package, you are to let me know either by sending an email to email me at lindaisrael.com or posting in the event on Facebook so we know who has received their page. And if you don't, I will shame you, period. If you don't follow through on this swap, I will publicly shame you and find out why you didn't send it. And I will make sure that everybody knows. That's just the way I feel about it. So don't sign up if you have no intention of completing it. I do understand life happens, but we're no tolerance on this because we're adults and we need to take responsibility for what we have signed up for. That's just my thoughts on that. So check the description box down below for the Facebook link. I am not putting my email address as a link. It will be with spaces in it. So if you are trying to remember what it is, if you didn't see it on the screen, it will be in the description box, but there'll be a space between the email and the @ sign and the Linda. So don't just think you can copy and paste it and email it to me, okay? All right. If you have questions, use that comment box down below. If you have suggestions, maybe you like this concept of doing a one-on-one swap, tell me what other swaps you would like to see and maybe we can organize that. What else? I think that's it. Just have fun with this. Don't feel the pressure to make something absolutely stunning, and at the same time, please don't send your trash. You know, if it is truly trash, put it in the trash. But if it's a usable item that someone else could use, these are extras. While I didn't use them on this page, that person who gets them could find a way to use these. Maybe they'll make some journal cards or a pocket out of it. So if you want to send extra goodies, you can. I feel that it gives the person who's receiving this to finish the page has a lot of options to use. All right, everybody, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and again, comment down below. If you haven't subscribed to me, please do. Know that I go live on Mondays at 3:45 p.m. Central Standard Time or Daylight Savings Time, depending on what time of the year it is. Definitely check those out as well. And know that you can go to my main page and do a search on journal page, how to make an envelope, how to make a pocket, and I have lots of tutorials that will probably guide you in whatever you need. All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you next time. Lots of love to everybody. Oh, be creative and be kind. Love you lots. Bye, everybody.